Hello, my beautiful movie peeps. Today is an achievement unlock day for 3C. Your boy received an email that he's finally approved to be a Rotten Tomatoes critic. I promise I will not let this go to my head.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand. What are you doing? Pulling the plug!
All jokes aside though, I do want to thank you if you're somebody who even watches or checks out my movie reviews. Being a Rotten Tomatoes critic is something I never thought I'd apply for or even want to do, but as a YouTuber, sometimes just asking for screenings or press access so I can review stuff for you guys, I get rejected all the time. Regardless of how many subscribers or followers I have, they'll say no just because they don't really treat YouTubers seriously, which I can understand. But now getting accepted thanks to your guys' support, it's going to make getting press access so much easier. So really, again, thank you. I'm so grateful. With that out of the way, let's get into some of the movie news, and we don't got a whole bunch today. I'll be providing you guys with an update on the Hollywood strike right now, some ridiculous things that have been happening in the movie space because of it. We got revealed our first look to the Pet Semetary prequel, a film I completely forgot was happening, and even a more detailed first look image on the upcoming Disney Snow White film that really has me concerned about this movie. Really, that along with just a couple of more things because of this Hollywood strike, movie news is gonna dry up really quick, and your boy's gonna end up getting desperate and make some weird content on the channel, so get ready for that. Which, a side note, if you have any suggestions about things you would like to see me talk about, since we're not gonna have a whole bunch of news until this strike is over, I will happily take on your suggestions, as long as they're not
You can finally make that Funko Pop collection video.
That is a work in progress, and when it is ready, it'll be ready. All right, so with the ongoing writer and actor strike right now, we have had some crazy things happening. Like, for one, I don't know if you saw, because of all the people that are marching and picketing outside these studios, Universal did a crazy thing and decided to cut off all the branches from their trees outside where people were striking so that they weren't able to have any shade and be hit with that hot blazing sun. That is some diabolical evil stuff. Can you imagine being that petty that you want to get rid of these strikers so you cut off the trees? Funny update on that story though, it's saying Universal could get into some legal trouble because you're not supposed to do that to public trees. So this little tactic could end up costing them some money from the city. Something else I found interesting going on with this strike is we have gotten a list of the demands that the writers and actors have been asking studios for, as well as what has been rejected by the studios. And although it is a really long list, I'm going to be picking the most basic request that I think should be a no-brainer and easy thing for the studios to give to the actors, yet they were rejected on it. Starting off here, one thing that they have is late payments, increased liquidation damages due to the unacceptable trend of irregularly late payments. The studio rejected. Though they admit that their companies consistently pay late, they have stated that they still will not pay on time even with the increased penalties. And that's something I bet a lot of people didn't know the actors suffer with. Imagine your job and where you work at. They're asking here for a penalty whenever they get paid late, and they're like, no, I know we pay late all the time, but we're still gonna do it anyways. One here I found kind of mind-blowing is performance capture. Finally acknowledge that performance capture is in fact a SAG-AFTRA covered category of work. This highly skilled form of performance makes blockbuster projects like Avatar possible, and the studio rejected that. So essentially, the actors like Andy Serkis, who did, Caesar in the Planet of the Apes movies, or all the motion capture actors that work on the Avatar films, they are not going to be gifted the same beneficial rights that the SAG union members get, because as of right now, the studios don't consider performance capture acting as real acting? That is insane to think about. They're on sets, they're working hard just like any actor. The only difference is they get CGI covered into a new character for the film, but the performance is still there. They're still acting. They're still human beings. That's kind of crazy to think right now that the people making like the 20 Avatar movies are not being given the same rights as regular actors just because it's performance capture. Another issue here, meal breaks. Increase the penalties for not providing meal breaks, which have not been updated since 1961. I think a lot of us have had this in the jobs. In the jobs I've had before YouTube, I know there's a legal requirement. Like if you're working an 8-hour shift, you must be given at least a 30-minute lunch break and like 2 separate 10-minute breaks throughout the day. Those are like legal requirements for regular jobs. And all the time in behind-the-scene videos for movies that are being made, I always hear the actors kind of complain about the 14-hour work shift, the 10-hour work shift where they're just filming stuff constantly. And I'll imagine some of those people aren't given their lunch breaks, aren't given just a 10-minute break. And as an incentive, so the studios don't do that, they will be penalized. They're rejecting that. That's a little crazy. And that right there is just mainly concerning the writer's strike. I know there was like a little bit of side drama in the movie reviewing community. Maybe you might not have been following that, but on TikTok there, the community has been going crazy about whether we're allowed to review movies, talk about movies and whatnot. Thanks to the SAG union working with Variety, they answered a lot of those questions, making me feel better about what I can do here on the channel to support the strike. And they did make it clear I can still review movies because I'm a movie critic, Rotten Tomatoes approved, baby now. Entertainment journalists can still talk about upcoming movies and provide news and commentary to you guys. The only thing here that'll be really different for me is I shouldn't be accepting any promotional work from the studios. That's like where they send me a PR package or they ask me to do a little ad for like an upcoming movie, which I was in the middle of doing one for a certain animatronic bear, but because I didn't get that deal signed before the strike, now I'm not going to be able to do it out of respect to the strike. Still though, like I said, with this Hollywood strike, movie news is going to dry up, so I'll be doing some different kind of content, mainly on TikTok, but here business will remain as usual as long as I have movie content to talk about, and if not, I'm still going to find a way to make movie related content that's entertaining for y'all. Jumping on from there, I saw an interesting article that popped up once this Hollywood strike started happening that Warner Brothers was considering delaying Blue Beetle. This was an article provided by The Puck here that they thought it would probably be best since they can't have the stars promoting the movie, and they've already done such a terrible job promoting Blue Beetle as it is, that they seriously considered moving the movie to 2024. Now, they went ahead and decided, no, we're not going to do that. We're still going to release it August 18th. But as far as my opinion on whether that would have worked or not, I think that would have been a bad decision. I think getting it out right now is the best thing you can do. I still don't have high hopes that it's going to perform all that well. Even as someone excited and super looking forward to Blue Beetle, I just think audiences don't care about DC right now, and they really are just waiting for Superman Legacy, and that'll be the true test to see if anyone cares about this new rebooted DCU. But now with this Hollywood strike going on and some content creators really afraid to talk about upcoming movies because they want to be in support of the strike, I'm going to be curious how many people show up for Blue Beetle. But this is where I toss it off to you guys. You see that Blue Beetle almost got delayed so that they would be out of the strike. Do you think that would have been a smart move, or do you think wouldn't have made a difference at all? Something else I definitely want to talk about here that I found so fascinating is we got kind of our first behind the scene photos of the upcoming live action Snow White movie. Now you guys have known that this has been in the works. Rachel Zegler will be playing our Snow White, making her Hispanic, which it's fine with me. The thing I was most interested with the Snow White movie is how they would handle the 7 dwarves, because you might have remembered there was an interview with Peter Dinklage where he expressed anger and disinterest in Disney remaking this movie for live action because he feels that the 7 dwarves are a bad stereotype on little people, which is what he is, giving us one of the reasons why the 7 dwarves will end up looking like this in the live action movie and not be little people. Now, I remember them saying that they were actually going to make the 7 dwarves like magical creatures, and that would be the way they address them, and maybe make them small, sort of Oompa Loompa style, where they're like not actual little people, they're a fictional made-up race that exists out there. But instead, no, it's going to be a group of diverse-looking cast members with one little person in there, and they will not be referred to as dwarves or magical creatures, but bandits. Thanks to My Time to Shine Hello, who's been a scooper online, they have it here. The people that save Snow White in this version are called the Bandits. Jonathan, the male love interest who isn't a prince, is also a bandit. The bandits are like Robin Hood. They steal from the queen to feed the poor. And I'm just like, so we're just basically wiping away most of what we know about Snow White to give us kind of a Snow White movie. I think there was a way for you to still do the seven dwarves without it coming off as offensive or as a stereotype. And doing this, I just feel like creates a domino effect of changing one thing, making you change another thing to another story point, to where we don't even have a prince anymore in this movie, and these are bandits, and it's gonna feel nothing like what the original was, which is kind of like the whole nostalgia bait point of these remakes, is that they feel like the thing you saw as a kid. But again, that's just my opinion on here. I'm not gonna let this boil up or like ruin my life like some channels try to lie like it does for them. It's just my opinion based on these photos. I could see the movie and realize, oh, these changes are for the better, and they've created an adaptation that is maybe on par or maybe even superior than the previous one. Who knows? That's where I throw it off to you guys. How do you feel about this changes for the Snow White movie? Something else I'm going to be curious if anybody is interested in. We got our first look to the upcoming Pet Semetary that is now titled Pet Semetery Bloodlines. Ooh, and that right there is horror fans. We've kind of seen that tagline used before in a couple of other horror movies. Bloodlines? It could go either way, really. Now, this will be coming to Paramount Plus October 6th, so it's not getting a theatrical release at all. We have gotten some first look set photos here. I imagine it's going to be the exact same Pet Semetary plot that we've seen over and over. Is there's a cemetery out there, you bury an animal in it, it comes back to life the next day. Oh, some point in time a family member dies and they contemplate burying that family member in the cemetery, and then of course all hell breaks loose. I don't even know why I just said all that, because we have official plot synopsis here, so let me just read that instead. In 1969, a young Judas Crandall has dreams of leaving his hometown of Ludlow, Maine behind, but soon discovers sinister secrets buried within and is forced to confront a dark family history that will forever keep him connected to Ludlow. Banding together, Judd and his childhood friends must fight an ancient evil that has gripped Ludlow since its founding, and once unearthed has the power to destroy everything in its past. And you know what? I had not read that plot synopsis until this very moment here, so it's a prequel focusing in on that old man character that is the one that warns you and has that deep voice, kind of like the voice of reason. And in the Pet Semetary movies, he always seemed to know a little bit too much about it, and I always wondered, you know, how does he know? Did he go through the same thing? And it looks like we're gonna get that backstory of how he knows this cemetery is really cursed and why he's kind of the one that looks after it and warns people. So you know what? I thought I had like zero interest in this. Now that I know it's a prequel based kind of on that character, okay, excitement went up to like 50-40%. I still doubt it'll be really any good, because a lot of these Pet Semetary movies that have been coming out have just been okay. But this is where I toss it off to you guys. Do you have hope that this Pet Semetary prequel could be any good? Does that synopsis intrigue you? Do any of these first look photos do anything for you? Gonna be curious to hear that. But anyways, guys, that is all the movies we currently have going on right now, guys. I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch me talk some movie news. Don't be forgetting to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. Please leave your suggestions down below on some content you'd like to see, and I might just do it. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.